We are.
We're live? You shouldn't like pick my nose or anything.
We're doing
or
live.
anything like weird.
Oh, I feel better now.
I mean, you
No?
can.
I mean, you can.
Good. I guess we can do
Good. I
whatever we
don't
want.
see anybody out there.
Then it'd be freaking nose picker guide service.
Nose Pickers Guide Service.
Nose
picker guide service.
They're doing a whiteboard drawing. Well, William Cox by George, guess what? We are going to be using the whiteboard quite a bit
We
tonight.
are using whiteboard. I like
And
it.
it's
Yes.
clean and ready
Bring it on.
to go.
It's where you get scribbled on.
Lights, camera, action, tight lines, addicts. Springer's coming in soon. Man, I feel like they're kind of here right now.
Here.
I don't know. We're going to talk about it.
Here.
Coming in hot.
And now a
Spaniard.
commercial. No, Jimmy C, we fixed the commercial
Bryce?
issue. We didn't really know.
Us?
Jared in the house. That's right. We got Jared Higginbotham. Yakima Bait, Big Jared.
Got Hunter here too. He's chilling
And
in the
Hunter
back.
chilling in the back. We just got done filming an awesome podcast. If you
Killer.
guys have not checked out our Addicted Fishing podcast, be sure to check it out. A lot of cool information, even stuff I even learned today regarding the Mag-Lip line of lures. Jared throwing it down, throwing the knowledge,
Yeah.
helping you guys out, helping you catch some fish, figuring out Shane Magnuson's little tips and tricks.
Yeah.
Hope he's not
Shane,
watching.
that guy's
You
fishy.
guys. Anyways, check that out. It's on 4 of the major platforms for podcasts. Apple Play, Spotify. Yeah, I don't really know.
It's on iTunes.
It's on iTunes.
Spotify.
Not Apple
iTunes,
Play.
Spotify.
Apple Play. Maybe Google Play.
Maybe it's on 4, but just search the Addicted Fishing podcast. You know, what? I'm gonna try that right now for you guys for
See what
googling.
you find.
Search
Yeah.
it
So,
up.
anyways, guys, we've got a really cool. Obviously, we got Jared from Yakima Bait, Jason from Steel Obsession, Guide
Yes, sir.
Service.
What's going on?
Even though he hates plunking, we're going to talk about plunking. We're going to try to convince this guy how cool plunking is
It's gonna be so fun.
and
buddy.
how fun plunking is.
We
Come
just
on.
How
need, we
deadly
just need to go
plunking
have
is.
a banger day plunking.
You and I can be
because
plunking
I have
buddies.
never
Dude, you're
had
too
a banger
busy
day
rowing
plunking.
your freaking 2-stroke down the river there, bud.
That
is very
Frickin'
true.
2-stroke, you know?
Always two-stroking it.
Always
It's
2-stroking it. You're probably still catching steelhead.
Still catching
It's
steel.
still catching steelhead.
Yeah.
It's peak steelhead right now. There's springers in the Columbia,
They
believe it or
crush
not.
I
too.
probably won't have that much of a downtime between steelhead and
No.
springers. Absolutely not.
I'm waiting.
Not
Maybe
this
a
year.
couple of days.
Well, I'm springer fishing the next 2 days, and then I'm rolling up, and I'm steelhead fishing for 2 days. So I get it, bro. I'm trying to mix the love. You know,
Yeah.
I feel the love like from all the fish.
Dude,
I saw the
springtime
gun
is my
catching boat
favorite
on
time of
Monday and
year.
no net went up. Well, you probably weren't watching me the whole time there, bud. That's the thing about springers. Let's be honest. They don't fight worth a damn.
They don't.
You
No,
hook them,
no.
dude. You hook them, and it's like crank, 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 crank. They're at the surface throwing their head.
But
Yeah.
they,
In our defense too, it's more like I want to eat you, so I'm
No,
gonna
no, there's
drag
no
you
reason.
in the
That's
boat.
Yeah.
exactly
Fall
what I was
fishing,
just
it's
about
like,
to say.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
fight
play it out for a
it,
while.
do whatever.
Yeah, have some
You're gonna
fun.
just you pop lose one.
No, we want to get these in the boat as soon
Springers?
as we possibly can and kill them.
Well, right, and
And
so
eat them.
Bro.
right, so one of the fish we caught yesterday.
Yeah, without a doubt.
One of the fish we caught yesterday, I was literally talking on the phone to a buddy of mine, and I watched a seal like pop up like 20 yards away, and I was like, freaking, you know, put it in my hand. Seal, I'm like, blah, 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 and then all of a sudden, like, I hear, hey, 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 and I look back up, and the bow rod's just like doing the oh, I got a herring in my mouth kind of thing.
Oh god, I love that.
It starts getting pinned down. I was like, get the net! I'm like, we've ripped rods in tangles, all sorts of fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
What led swinging, like people that, my
bro.
clients didn't realize, like I was staring at a California sea lion like 20 yards away. And no, they're not eating smelt, they're eating springers. I saw them rip up multiple salmon that day right in that general area. They were hunting them for sure. Do not let anybody fool you. They were, and so I was like, get that net. And he like kind of crank, and the fish was up on the surface. And I netted that thing in about 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Threw the boat. Like, we're
Get
not.
it in.
You
we're
won
not-
today, buddy. You
no,
won.
Yeah.
We're not playing that freaking game. We are not feeding those sons of guns. But anyways, you guys, we're gonna be talking springers a ton tonight. Not just obviously gonna be talking about plunking. We got some rigs here. We've got some herring here. We got some coon shrimp. Got of course the all famous spin and glow. Naturally,
Ooh, yeah.
probably the one salmon and steelhead lure that's been responsible for killing more of these poor little chrome fish more than anything else.
Poor little
I mean,
fin-
really,
finned
let's
creatures.
ask your guys' opinion of that, because I want you guys to like this video. I want you guys to show us out, thumbs up it, do all that good stuff. You know what to do. But tell me, what do you think is the one lure that's killed More salmon and steel. When did spinning glows come out? 1940s?
1940s, man. If I remember right, the story goes Howard Warden delivered them to Celilo Falls before the dam was built in the early 1950s.
So tell me a lure that you think that may have killed more fish than the spinning glow. Because honestly, I do believe the spinning glow is responsible for more salmon and steelhead deaths.
It's got to be number one.
Not
In the
working
Northwest
for
than
even
any
not
other
working
lure.
for Yakima bait, bro. That would be one of my tops for sure. I can't think of one that would have.
I tried to think of one, but let me know what you guys think. What is the one lure that is responsible for killing more salmon and steelhead than anything else? Lure. I'm not talking bait. Lure. What is responsible? Let me know. You guys, please
Jimmy C.
like and share this live feed out. Let us know where you're tuning in from. As you guys know, we are picking prize packs. We've got some cool prize packs tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Because we do got Mr. Jared Higginbotham in the house.
Right.
And as always, huge shout out to Stevens Marine for sponsoring this live feed. As always, their boating needs a little
Such
well
good
dealers.
dudes.
Smoker Craft, dude, always good dudes. Always are willing to help out. Super knowledgeable. You can deal with motor, winterizing, getting stuff ready, building new boats with other people, or you can just go to Stevens Marine and go to the experts and go to the pros. Huge shout out to Stevens Marines as always. They build all my boats, work on all my motors, keep me running. I can't say enough good things about them. If you guys are interested, it is springtime. It is time to be thinking about that, because if you're one of those guys that winterized your boat, sorry, well, you're a loser. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I kind of have to because I
You
live
gotta go
on.
steelhead fishing. What's that?
I have to because I live on the other side of the state, and so I winterize it. I pull out my drift boat. It's kind of a nice break, you know. It's like giving the big girl a
See, I
rest.
guess that's fair. Like, we don't live in the cold side of the state.
Yeah, it's cold, bro. You
Todd,
can't store your boat
yeah.
outside. You'll be chipping ice off it like, deadliest catch type of stuff. So I store it, and I get out my drift boat and row it for a while. Get some exercise.
Gotta get some
Anyways,
two-stroke
guys,
in it.
I stand corrected. But anyways, check out Stevens Marine. As
Stevens
always.
Marine's great, bro. They're always super good to me. Good dudes, man. So
Saw they had a Clackamax
solid
for
place to
sale.
work.
They had a Clackamax for sale?
They had
Well,
a
it's
Clackamax.
already gone.
Probably.
Yeah.
It was priced very competitively.
They're good boats, bro.
Anyways, that should be an
Magnets.
argument. Spinning glows, spinners. Well, spinners. I mean, I guess is there like one specific spinner that would have caught more than all of the Warden spinning gloves? Blue Fox. When was Blue Fox out? You probably know.
Blue
I
and
don't
chrome.
know. Blue Fox are super fishy, though. I mean, you really can't beat them, but you can't fish three Blue Fox.
But I feel like Blue Foxes weren't getting it done in the 1940s.
I don't think so.
Probably not.
I don't think so. They might have been a black and white fox at that time because there was no color.
Analog, Blue Fox. Yeah, there you go. Blue Fox. Someone said Blue Fox, cheaters, maps, baits. Give it a year, I'll be Brad Super Baits. I don't know.
Cheaters.
1940s, guys. We're talking 1940s.
Yeah,
Like,
you're
that's a
talking
lot. That's a
like
hell of a
80
head
years.
start.
Not saying the Super 8s aren't a good lure, but you're talking a lot of years.
You got to do the Chris Farley impression. Now, why would Jeff Santos say that? Did he go to Puyallup? Jeff, did you go to Puyallup?
Oh, hey, the Chris
Apparently,
Farley
Chris
impression.
Farley graced us with his
I saw
presence.
the Goonies one.
Oh, you saw the Goonies one? Yeah, I'm gonna sloth, dude. You should wait till you see my next one.
For time, I would say Wigglewort, hands down.
Ooh, yeah. Hey, man,
I don't think so.
I'll give that a
I'm
good
gonna-
comparison. But I don't
I'm
think
going to
Wiggle
say
Works
like
out,
a
though.
good one, a definite one that we haven't
Yeah, up
thought
there.
about, but like
I'll give that some valid love.
I'm going to give it some. I'm going to give it like, but 1940s.
Yeah, bro. I think
Dude,
the Wiggle Works
back-
like might have been 80s-ish, right?
Dude.
70s-ish, because they were a bass lure originally, and they were designed for bass. And they kind of infiltrated their way
Yep.
out here.
So even then, like good, like solid lure. But I would definitely not hold it to a spinning glow.
Hot shot.
Hot shot, same thing.
hot shots are good, bro.
Because hot shots are good, but they haven't been
Especially
around the
original
last 20
Eddie Popes,
years.
bro. The original Eddie Pope hot shots are dirty, bro. You got a few of those. They're nasty. Those things
Big.
are fishy.
Still, I don't see it. I don't see it.
I don't see it either. I'm just saying they're fishy.
I mean, the way that
That-
tributary fishing like really developed in the 80s and 90s and stuff like that, but you still had a 40-year head start.
When you think
Yeah.
about it, bro, like anytime anyone is plunking anywhere,
Plunking,
They
yeah.
have.
it's a spinning glow.
Yeah.
It's a spinning glow. And so whether you have a dropper with a spinner, you have a dropper with a mag lip, or a dropper with a plug,
If it's in the 1940s, it was probably made from wood, was it?
it was made from cork.
Cork.
It was made from
Close
cork.
enough.
They
It
were
was
made from cork. The
cork.
original spinning glows were made from cork.
Someone said tease.
I got a ton of spinach rolls from the bashes.
Gill nets is not a lure.
Come on now.
They didn't
Not a
willingly bite
lure.
it. They freaking choked to death on a gill net.
Not
See,
a
I like that.
lure.
See,
Yeah, I see.
she got some spinning gloves from the bashes. Victoria did. Nice work, Victoria. Those were fun. I like handing those out. I got lots of good
Boys.
comments on those throughout the year.
If that's the case, then spoons. Now spoons have been around a long time.
Spoons been around a long time. Trolling spoons.
Casted.
Yeah, you're talking. I like that. I like that. I like
that one could be that. I feel like
that spoon could be there.
Spoons is closer to
It's close.
to the spin and glow than the wiggle words was. Wiggle word above the spin and glow win. 10. I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it.
When you
Just
have
not
the
seeing it.
time
Cody
the
Bloom,
spin glows
fellow
have,
Zilla kid. What's
there's
up,
just
Cody?
It
it's
must
hard
be
to beat
easy
it.
for Jared to mend his line.
Oh, bro. I still
He's
fish.
up in here.
Yeah. And I fish 10.5 to 11.5 foot rods, bro.
Oh
so
my
I am
God,
the
you're
float
right.
fishing king,
You
bro.
could use an 8.6 and I still wouldn't
I
be able
could
to
use
reach
an
it.
8.6. Just think about, bro, if I threw you up on my shoulder and you had a 10.6, though, you'd be the mending champ.
We could go
Original?
mend anywhere.
Rapala.
Ooh.
I still wouldn't say for salmon and steelhead. No. But
Yeah, no, I wouldn't say for salmon steelhead. I mean, the
good
Midwest, they fish them a lot, though. Michigan, Wisconsin, they fish a lot of, Rapala stick baits for salmon.
hot shots from the 70s. Yeah, hot. I mean, I
They're
feel like
fishy,
hot
bro.
shots-
But they were targeted for mostly, like, steelhead. You were talking,
Right,
like...
tributary,
Yeah.
like not like any Big River stuff, any hogline stuff. Like
Yeah.
it was all it
We
was
saw
Willamette
millions-
Special, Warden spinning gloves.
Well, and you think about it, too, dude. I mean, it's not just spinning gloves for plunking. Like, the #1 lake trout lure in the Great Lakes is a spinning globe behind an old lure Jensen style trash can 8-inch Dodger. Trash can's the color. It's kind of an off metal, like Little Chief there. And so, spinning globe is the number. People think we just sell them in the Northwest. The Great Lakes takes as many spinning gloves or more than the Northwest.
Jeez.
Jared got the extra 3-foot wingspan. Just yes, for sure. Which one are you looking at? They're going by pretty
I
fast.
thought the bro in the middle was sitting down.
No,
Hey,
no.
just to let you guys know, it's actually good to be a little shorter because you get a little lower profile when you're rowing down the river.
It's
Rowing
true.
is easier.
It is true.
Rowing is
I catch a lot of wind.
Oh my god!
I guess that's a win.
Bring your kid to work
I
day.
checked that
You
off
guys
when I
are-
came
that
out.
was- you guys are-
Short.
you guys-
My
Yes.
kid has the best
Savage.
goatee ever.
Naps, bolo spinners. I don't know, guys. I see you guys. Okie freaking drifter again.
Ooh,
like
yeah.
good for tributaries, but spinning
But it's
goes killing
gone.
Yeah.
tributaries.
But it's gone.
It disappeared for a while.
That's the thing is a lot of these are gone, bro.
Yeah.
Like they didn't stay around. So they didn't stay around. Obviously they didn't fit the bill.
All right, we got some house cleaning. We're gonna pick a winner for a prize pack. I thought Marlon was gonna. Oh, wait, did you have 1 or 2 or 3 prizes, Pat?
Oh, I brought enough that you want to. We can toss some stuff out and have some fun, whatever you want to do.
Maybe we'll just do
I
like.
brought one like super plunker
Hold on.
prize pack, like for the master plunker.
that prize pack
like
there?
for the spin and glow, loving. Like this dude's never gonna
Box?
need to buy spin and glows again. Like
Ever.
I
Yeah.
love you, Jared. This
Jared,
is the
talk to me
awesomest
here.
thing
Like, are we
ever.
doing like both of these?
Oh yeah,
Or is
let's
this
let it
like
ride.
For like the boys. And this is
No,
for,
I do everything big, bro.
That one is for one person.
That's for
This
one.
is
That's
for
for-
one
for the
person.
end.
That's for one person.
Yeah, that should be for
Holy
the end.
cow. Okay.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm just gonna do another bag full.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. All right,
Yeah.
guys. So, as you guys know, if you haven't been to any of our addicted bags, now, okay, dang it, I should have asked you this offline. Are we getting a care package for PA?
Oh, it's already here, bro.
Okay, perfect. So,
Yeah.
anyways, guys, so let's talk about it.
Seen
So
that.
before we announce our
that's a
first
good
winner
one.
tonight, I do want to do a quick little. We got to do some housekeeping. We're talking some plunking, talking some springers. We're gonna be out chasing springers the next few days.
Yes.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. But first things first, you guys, in Pennsylvania, we are coming out to the Midwest to premiere the movie Steelhead Alley. We're gonna be there on April 21st at the Bayfront Convention Center. Tickets are available right now on addicted.fishing. I have no idea where we're at because Marlon's been gallivanting and doing Marlon things, talking outside. But I can tell you guys it's going to be an absolute blast. And I do know that some of the antics that we pull in the Portland and Puyallup shows, we are going to be bringing out to PA. And that includes maybe a few spin and glows getting thrown out to the crowd.
Yeah, I didn't send quite as many, but I
Well, okay, you kind of went nuts for the 900 people in Portland.
Yeah,
That
well,
was-
Portland was pretty special, and those people got an extra little bit of a love. But
It's like our hometown, but we're expanding.
yeah, I do everything big, right? And so if we're gonna send it, you might as well send it.
Jared
That
does
is full
everything
send.
big, and just for you guys to know right now, I've got a bag. How many spin and glows is in this bag?
God, there's got to be 250.
So I have it. So this is gonna be our our last prize pack of the night.
Yeah.
So just like Jared does, just like we're going to do at the bash, anything Jared does is big. Look at the guy. Like, nobody has beaten him
I'm
in
standing
the height
up.
and the bigness
So far.
factor.
Right.
At every bash, I bring him up. I'm like, come on, man. Who's got it? And some guys walk up there like this, and they just freaking pull
They're
their
close.
tail between their legs.
That cowboy
and go
dude was
sit
close.
down.
He was big.
Close is not. Close only works in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Truth,
Does
brother.
not
Truth.
work.
If I can see the top of your head, it doesn't count.
Yep, exactly. Well, the little kid won when he was on his dad's shoulder.
I
so
gave him, yeah, you got to give him some love for some,
yeah.
creativity, though. Come on.
But you guys, I got a package of 250 absolute banger color spin glows for you guys tonight that will work for springers, sockeye, steelhead, and anything else that you are going to plunk with a coon shrimp or alone as our main prize pack for tonight. But because Jared is what Jared does, that does not make any sense.
Jared
is
does,
what Jared
yeah,
does.
big.
Yeah, sure, okay.
Jared does
I've
big.
got another packet of what's going to probably be 100 to 150 that we're going to give away for
There
those.
might be about 300 in there.
No, I'm not going to give all these. We're going to kind of
Oh.
split these up a little bit.
Yeah, there's some size 4s
I mean,
and
hold on,
size
go
2s.
side cam.
I
Go
would say
side cam.
I
We
would say
gotta go
Cam's
side.
handful's probably.
You know, I mean, that, like, come on, guys. Look at that.
Yeah.
Those things are like $3 a piece. No,
Yeah. Oh, that one right there is straight fire.
lemon special with
Yeah.
yellow
You run that
mylar.
with some eggs, bro, and that thing's going to get chomp, chomp, chomp. Or a tuna ball. Yum, yum,
Yeah.
dim
Oh,
sum.
look at these guys. Now everyone's like, come on, Clint. Pick
Come
us,
on,
pick
Clint,
us.
pick a winner.
Guess the win is bag. No, all you guys got to do to enter to win is comment, like, and share this
it.
out. Throw this to the interwebs. We're going to be talking plunking tonight. We're going to be talking
Share
some rigging stuff. Obviously, going to be including some spin glows and showing you guys how to do it because it is a very effective way. And we can say, because of this live feed has said so, that there has been no lure that has been responsible for more salmon and steelhead deaths in the Northwest than the spinning glow.
No, 𝗪𝗏𝗧, I was not defensive end at UW. I did, however, party at UW quite a bit, but I never played football.
All right, guys, so real fast, get your tickets at addicted.fishing.com for that movie premiere PA for all our Midwest guys. Let us know if you're going to head down there. It'd be really cool to have you guys. I know we were over half sold out as of last week. I haven't got enough paid yet. It is going to be a party. We'll be out there on April 21st, just a couple short weeks from now. Yeah, it's going
That
to
is
be
coming
awesome.
up quick.
Yeah, look at that. Everyone's commenting.
Hey, while we're still in the beginning,
Yes.
make your live about making it live. You know how you always say you forget that
Oh,
you're watching it?
That's right. And if you guys are watching this, I see some of these guys are commenting on stuff that's happened in the past. Make sure that on the bottom left-hand corner, if you are watching on YouTube, that you click the little live button and it's a little red signal so you are following along with us. And I should say that in the beginning of the podcast, live feed, podcast, whatever the hell we're doing.
This is the closest we've got to the.
Yeah, you know, usually it's like an hour in. So yeah, it's awesome. It's awesome, guys. So all right. Let's see. I saw a super chat up there a minute ago. Let's run that real quick. So, Pendleton, Oregon, keep up the good old work, guys. Now let's talk plunking. Fish hits our river in mid-April.
Nice.
That's right. It is. It is go freaking time. We're going to be talking about it. We've got the whiteboard signed up. Spin and glow for days. I always say where I'm at. First comment. Well, thank you, Rubber Ball. If you guys commented, then you have been entered to win the first prize pack, which is going to be just a big old bag. It's not going to be 250, but it's going to be. But it's going to
Hey,
be
A good, healthy
100.
amount.
But you still got to get some love. I mean, you got to
It's gonna be
love
worth it.
spinning glows, right?
It's going to be worth it. It's going
And
to be
spinning
worth it.
glows are just fun to say. It's fun to do. And I'll show you some really cool tricks with spinning glows tonight that most people don't know about. Here you can alter them. You know, make them a little more fun, make them fish
And let's be
different.
honest, that's important because like when there's a lot of big anglers and a lot of people on there targeting, going after
How
springers,
you can make them different.
sockeye, summer steelhead, summer chinook,
Can do
whatever
a
it
lot
might
of
be.
different things.
If your spinning glow is doing something a little different than the other one,
Oh, I got 3 or 4 ways to teach you how to fish spinning glows that's going to change people's mind. Be like, oh, I'll be damned.
Well,
Like,
let's
I didn't
teach
know
them
that.
1 or 2 and keep the other 2 for ourselves.
I like it. See? That's why.
Jason.
Steel
Remember the
obsession
people,
right here,
Jason
folks.
Harpson, everybody.
Steel obsession.
Yeah, like
Keeping
my
it
little
I get it.
secrets,
close to the
guys.
vest.
Everybody's
Close
gotta
to the
have their own
vest.
little secrets.
Even 50 spinning glows worth it, even 2 spinning glows worth it, we're going to give them to you free.
Yeah.
I'd spin and glow for those spinning glows, says Outdoor
Nice.
Glow. Go to
How do
the
you
super
spin and
chat.
glow?
How do you spin and glow?
I don't know. We should invent a
What
dance
did you
called
like? Shove a
spin-a-glow,
sparkler
though.
in your ear and spin around?
It's like a Dougie, but different, bro.
We're gonna do
Teach me
spin
how to
glow this
spin
morning,
glow.
boys.
Teach me how to spin
Oh,
glow.
someone said upside down. The old
Oh, upside down. It does. So upside down is one way to do it, bro. So you get more vibration and you get movement.
Spin and glow behind a 360.
Ah,
No.
They fish
Later.
All right.
We'll talk about it.
All right.
God,
talk
dude, you
about
make
it.
me. I'm not a
We'll talk
patient
about
guy
it.
anyway. I get excited.
Thank
talk
you for
about
the
it.
super chat.
Yep, thank you very
Thank
much
you,
for the
thank
super
you.
chat, guys. And those guys don't know the super chat, we always will read out your comments on YouTube if you go to do a super chat, because it pops up in bright colors and Clint sees it, and it's the only thing he doesn't miss as being a producer. It's
Yeah, and if you're not standing here, the comments go by so fast, and I am ADD, and I can read them as
guys,
fast as possible.
Springer
Good
fishing
Lord.
is so freaking good that even Clint caught a fish today.
Clint got a fish today,
Clint
ladies and
caught
gentlemen.
a fish
Clint in
today.
the house, out of his plane. He was trolling out of his
Wasn't
plane.
in a guide boat? I
Yep.
can't believe it. What did it
He wasn't in
bite?
a guide boat. Did it all by himself.
Clint, what did it bite?
Caught his
What
own.
did you get it on, Clint?
What
Come
did it-
on,
Let's hear the story. Get your mic on.
come on,
My mic's on.
come on.
Okay, let's hear the story real fast, and then you're gonna
There's
pick
no
a winner
story.
after
It's
this.
just
God, it's got to
We
be a
need a
story.
camera-
It's
we
your
need a
first springer
camera
of the
on
year.
you.
Yeah, hold on. Okay,
Yeah, get
Clint,
that side
okay,
cam.
let it go down.
Let's show it.
Go
God,
side
he looks-
cam and tell the story.
He looks so
Oops,
nice
not
today.
side cam.
Oh, he does. Oh, it doesn't work now. Weird. Yeah.
Oh, there he is. Hey.
No, just trolling cut plug herring behind a triangle, and it was the new Mexican hat one.
Oh my gosh.
I swear to God,
The pink one.
Clint.
Oh,
Yeah.
that dirty one.
it
That's
was.
a good one.
But yep, just trolling. Not
Do you
too
have a
big,
picture
nothing
of it?
fancy. It's the thumbnail for the video.
How fast were you
We'll
going?
pull up a picture
How
of that.
deep?
Yeah.
All
How
right,
deep?
hang on.
How fast?
On
What
the
were you using?
bottom, I was moving.
Why did Yakima switch to?
Wait, what is that? Wait, I lost.
So the guy asked, why did Yakima switch to white wings instead of Mallard wings? We offer spinning glows in a bunch of different wing colors, bro.
Yeah,
And
switch. It's-
we didn't switch. We just discontinued some colors and certain wing colors because we had 215
Okay, I don't wanna
colors.
be on
So
camera.
Okay, fine.
that's a lot with every wing color. So we just discontinued a few, but you can still order them custom.
Spinning made one of the most versatile fishing doohickeys. Absolutely.
Fact.
That's
Yeah.
a fishing doohickey of extremes.
Yeah,
Yes.
pretty amazing,
Yes,
right? And you
yes.
come up with that like in the 40s. You know, Howard Warden, I talked to him quite a bit when I first went to work at Yakima Bait in 2012. He passed away in 14 or 15. Neat guy, 90s, would come in my office and talk to me about different stories and things he brought to the world. And it was just really cool to know that he was a part of fishing history. And, you know, him talking to me was just really neat every day. I mean, it's like talking to Buzz every day.
Oh, get that off there. Oh, there's the fish.
Look at him.
It was all
Man,
face
that
up,
is
and then
a
a little
handsome
scary.
gentleman right there.
Look at that.
No, ladies, he is not single, but he does look that good in person.
Yep.
Woo! Woo!
That fish just jumped in his boat. He wanted to be by Clint.
And he has the
so
same
bad.
yellow sunglasses on his
Chewed-
hat right now.
Chewed the paint off the side of the boat he wanted in so bad.
Look at him.
Probably
Man,
hooked
he
him on
looks
the
good.
tagline.
Black face, spring.
You been working out, bro? You been working out a little bit?
Did he rip that
You look
fish?
like you've been
I
putting
heard
some
you-
time at Planet Fitness.
Did you just tuna haul that fish right into the boat?
It didn't last very
pulled it
long
right
flopping
in there.
around.
Awesome fish, Clint. Good
Dandy, brother.
work.
Nice work.
That is exactly one more fish than I caught today.
You are one ahead of me. That is for sure.
That
That
was a
is
good
awesome.
day.
Slab City, nice one, Clint. If I win the spinning glows, I will give 80% to young girls and boys. Promise. Well, Jimmy C, you commented, so you entered. Oh, look
like
at that.
that.
Oh, there's the after effects.
Yum.
Already
Chef
being
Boyar
cooked.
Clint,
Yum.
right there, crushing it.
I love it. I love
Crushing
it.
it.
I love it. Do they still have the copper spinning glows?
We have, I think, a couple. Copper
Root
Structures
beers?
Head. We used to have some really cool ones, man, like metallic bronze and black and like different copper ones that were really cool, but it just didn't sell well. But the copper ones are super fishy, dude. Super fishy. I have a few older ones I
Copper
use
with a
in
black
certain
head.
areas. Copper the black head,
Copper
like a
with
Dr.
black-
Death before. Like a
Yes.
Dr. Death but Abraham Lincoln style.
Yeah. Ooh,
I
yeah.
like it, like the penny.
Old time Dr. Death.
Old time, old school.
Old time Dr. Death.
Coming in hot.
Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That bag.
Coming hot. Clint
We
for the
want that
win. I
bag?
like that. Clint
I
for the
gotta find a
win.
little bag or a little box.
How do I
because we're
order a
gonna-
custom? Well, you can message me at Yakima Bait, email customer service at yakimabait.com. You can message me on social media if you follow me on social media, and I can give you the parameters on ordering a custom plug, a spinning glow, or whatever.
All right, I'm making the prize pack for number one here. It's gonna be a good one.
Prize pack.
It's gonna be a good one.
Ooh, copper Mexican hat and spinning glow, please. Man, I have some few in the hopper that are looking exactly like what you're talking about there, Mr. Walking on Water. So
Yeah.
I dig that.
There's
dig
at
that.
least 100 spinning glows into that prize pack right here.
Look at that. I like how
Dude,
you
that's
scoop,
a freaking
bro.
chunk.
That's a Jared scoop. I like that. Well
That's like
done.
a pound
Wow.
of.
Feeling very
we're doing it
giving.
by weight. We're not
You can
doing
feel
it
that.
by
It's
not even
individual
Christmas,
spinning
but the
glows.
giving
You
season
can
is
feel
here.
the drop through
It is
your chest.
upon us. The Springer giving season is upon us, ladies and
So
gentlemen.
look at that. Boom.
Boom.
First prize.
Come and get it.
Just send me the box. I'll make sure they get to where they need to go. Let's go.
Let's
Vacuum seal
go.
those spinning
Pick
glows
that
and
winner.
send them.
Vacuum pack 'em? I don't
Well, I think Clint's going to pick a winner. So if you don't win, be sure
Crush
to
them
message
wings, boy.
Clint Laurie on Facebook and be all pissed off at him.
Yeah.
And why you didn't win, because the
He's
randomizer is
dictating.
going right now. No, we're
Randomizer.
talking some plucking
Oh.
spinning glow rigs. Here we go.
And
If
the
you
spinning
commented,
wheel,
you have a
spinning wheel,
chance.
spinning wheel.
Boom. Mason
Who is it?
Hellberg.
Steel secrets.
Mason Hellberg,
Steel
Steel
Secrets.
Secrets. Nice work, Mason.
Dude, we got
You
over
just-
300 of you guys watching,
Gotta
and
keep some
Mason
secrets.
Hellberg won the first spinning glow prize pack. At least 100 spinning glows in there. Don't count them, it's all by weight, whatever.
Yeah.
But these are all super fishy colors. They will all work. They will all catch stainless steel. Be sure to email your address at Mason Hellberg at orders@addicted.fishing, and we will send this exact pack out to you, because I'm going to throw it at Clint right now.
Right turn, Clyde. Bam.
He's
There you
going to add
go.
it into the little basket. That's going to get it sent out to you. So congratulations, Mason Hellberg. You won the first prize pack, but don't forget, guys, we've got the Jared-sized
Jared size.
pack going out a little
Dude, that's a mega. That's a
later
mega
on.
pack.
And we might have another one, because there's a lot of spinning glows in that
There's a
box.
lot of them in there.
Maybe I need to make another one.
I think that's a good idea. It's always good to have them ready. I mean, it's kind of like us having them ready at the factory to ship. You gotta have them ready to ship, bro.
Hot topic. What are your thoughts on forward-facing sonar for tournament bass fishing? Matt, it's never going to go away. Anybody who cries about it doesn't matter, because guess what? The tournaments want big fish to be caught because it looks impressive, and that's the end of it.
Yep. Thank you,
It'll
Victoria.
never go away. It'll always happen, and if you're not using forward-facing sonar on salmon fishing, you're an idiot. Okay, moving on.
I heard they're gonna outlaw it or ban it.
They're people that
can't
don't
ban
want to
it.
get with the times. It's just another tool, and unfortunately,
How
the
would you
tournament
ban it
people-
when the sonar companies are some of the biggest sponsors of the entire tournament?
Never going to
Not
happen.
gonna happen,
They
bro.
can cry about it all
No
they
way.
want. Forward-facing sonar is here to stay. It's never going anywhere. Those tournaments, what do they want? 16-pound bags to come in? Hell no. They want 30-pound bags to come in.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Like it or hate it. You can sell typewriters in a world of laptops all you want. It's not going anywhere.
Hey.
Mark my words, it ain't happening.
Yep.
And you're right. And I never even thought of the sponsor thing.
Yeah. So they're not. There's no way, bro. It's not gonna happen.
We don't need to talk about that. I just thought it was a funny question because it related to bass. We got a super chat. What size spinning glow should we use on big water? Boom! We're going to start tonight's live feed with that. Let's talk about spinning glow sizing. We're going to talk about string Chinook stuff. We've got the whiteboard. We're going to utilize that as far as some of the technique and some of the advantages they want to use. But before we get into that, Guy's going to go. He wants to head down plunking before he even has an idea about it. What size spinning glow, colors, kind of give them guys a rundown. And we've got some examples here.
Yeah.
If you want to use this giant box of spinning glows you brought.
let's
I'm
toss
sure
them
there's a
out. So I
few
got a
winners
few
in
here.
there.
There you go.
But give guys an example on size and stuff. And then you guys, we've got some coon shrimp, we've got some herring stuff, and we're going to talk about also utilizing the spinning glow behind the 360 flasher as well. So
Yeah. So top size by far is number 2.
number 2. Which one's number 2?
Right here.
We got to
So,
show people number 2.
Number 2.
You might have pulled that out or something.
I broke the side.
Oh,
You did pull it out.
dude.
Man, you know. Yeah, that's a.
I stepped
that's a big
on it. I
Jared
broke the
mistake.
side cam. I'm sorry, guys. Don't shoot me. Blame Clint. Blame Clint.
What the hell?
Always blame Clint.
¿Qué pasando? What is happening?
All right. Rock and roll. Boom. It's kind of hard to get a size comparison here.
Well, you got a 0 here, a 2, and a 4, right? And so in our catalog, which you can look at yakmabait.com, you can scroll down the bottom of the page, you can download the catalog. It's going to give you the actual size, which is, like 2 1/4, 2 inch, so on and so forth. And so you can actually measure one with a ruler and figure out. And the length is dictated between the top and the bottom of the spinning glow. But your top selling size is number 2, probably plunking here. Your next in size would be a 4, and then a 0. Now, early in the season like this, for springers, I'm going to use the 0 and the 2s the most. And as the steelhead come in the river later on, I'm going to use the 2s and the 4s the most. I generally like for steelhead, I like black wings. For spring Chinook, I like pretty much the exact same things we're showing right here.
I'm just going to put that bobber up there
yeah.
just so you can get a little size reference, guys. That's one of our addicted steelhead bobbers.
Yeah, so you can see the size reference. The 0 is pretty good size. If I remember right, it's like 2 1/4 or 2 1/2 inches.
Like a quarter.
so it's
Oh,
big.
a quarter would be better. I don't have a quarter or a dollar bill, but
I only carry
What?
hundreds, bro.
well, that's a dollar bill size. Let's see it.
I
But
don't think
one
I
thing,
have
guys,
one.
is the size two. You're going to be able to see exactly.
The same size as his head. There you go.
Kind of get an idea.
Yeah.
But size 2s will be labeled at your sporting goods stores. But this is your size 2 right here. This straight yellow lemon drop one, right?
Yeah, that's chartreuse. And so, generally what I'm looking for spring Chinook is stuff like, this one here, the chartreuse one. I mean, I like chartreuse for springers. Probably one of your number one go-to colors for spring Chinook, period. Everywhere up and down. When I was in retail, I sold more of this one than NPGH. Nickel plate green head with a mylar wings than I did any spin and glow ever. I probably sold 10 to 1.
So high dirty water is still the chrome and green top? That's how that question asked?
If I was fishing higher dirty water, I would like this one a little bit better. You know what I mean? It's more profound. It stands out better. But for that standard color water, everything that the fish is pretty good. This nickel plate green head you can't go wrong with. This double trouble, this one's called DTUC-MC, which stands for double trouble UV chartreuse. MC is mylar chartreuse wings. So when you see the explanation at the end of the spin and glow, this one will be an MC mylar chartreuse. This one will be an MY, which is mylar. This will be an MP, which is mylar pink. And this one will be WH, which is white. And then we have a PL, which is pearl, but I don't have any of those right here.
And is this a BL?
That's a BL.
Why is that?
That would be because it blends in with this decal. Yeah, it blends in with that decal.
Wow, that's on the spot. Good work.
Bam, right?
Good
work.
work.
So yeah, those are the kind of styles I look for. And as the water gets clearer, what I generally like to do is I like to downsize color and profile. And so, I mean, even something as simple as this, like downsizing something, or not downsizing, but taking from a mylar wing to a black wing is good. Oh, I actually do have one pearl wing one there, and so those are the pearl. Or people call them moon jelly or UV. So we do have a bunch of varieties of spin and glows for different colors and different water situations. I generally tend to, on bright days, sunny days, fish things with the bright wings, like the pearl or the mylar. Dark days or dirty water, I fish the chartreuse. And pretty much the white fish is good in everything because white is contrasty, but yet it's subtle enough in the bright days that it works out well. So the white is pretty good in pretty much either water. So that's kind of how I look spin and glows and how I target them. But they're, there's a size and a color for pretty much every situation.
Dude, in size and color, go ahead and get off this there. Size and color too, when it comes to spin and glows, you are utilizing, especially for us locally right now, spring Chinook season, you're generally coupling that with some bait. Now I know back in some of the big springer days, 2001 or the 2005, we just fished a straight spin and glow with a treble hook.
Didn't matter, bro.
Took some shrimp gel, freaking rattling it on there, and it did not matter. You're right, it didn't matter. And that was back when it was 2 fish limits. Yes. And so I know, but a lot of times you're really utilizing the spin and glow to float a bait or do something like that. So when you're talking about the colors, you're kind of oh, you'll get some of the chromes and some of the greens, some of the chartreuses. But I mean, is there a color you wouldn't use? What one would you not use? If your life depended on it, and you didn't want to choose one color, what I'm trying to get at is that just using a spin and glow with the vibration that it puts off and the flotation that it provides for a plunker, there's nothing better.
Well, let's say for instance, we're in the Columbia, right? And you can fish 3 spin and glows. You can fish 3 hooks, right? And so you can fish 3 single hooks on each spin and glow if you're plunking. And so if I'm going to start out in the morning, this one's glow. It's a luminous slant, right? And so I'm going to have a glow one, right? And then I would probably have something in that chartreuse type realm, like this, right? And then I would probably have a black wing one, something like that, right? And so here, automatically, when I start in the morning, I've got 3 separate presentations. I've got a luminous slant, I've got a glow UV, and I've got a kind of a flat one with black, right? But I got 3 different colors, right? And then, like Buzz Ramsey says, I let the fish tell me what they want. If I get bit once or twice on one or the other, I'm going to switch. But as that day goes on, light comes up, maybe there's no wind, no chop, different things, right? That's going to change what I want to put on. But early in the morning, it doesn't start to hurt to start out with a luminous and a UV one, right? Because, low light situations, you want to brighten up a little bit, make your presentation known, so.
Especially when there's a lot of spin and glows on the beach. You make all these darn colors, though. I mean, why? I mean, if one color worked and you didn't think to change any of those colors, I mean,
Well,
other than just being different.
But we're not just fishing them in salmon on the Columbia, right? You've got people fishing them in Canada. You got people fishing them in Alaska. You got people fishing them for walleye in Lake Winnebago in Wisconsin. You got people fishing them for lake trout in Lake Ontario and Lake Michigan. And you got people fishing them everywhere. I got people in Hawaii that use them for bonefish, floating clam necks off the reefs that work for the University of Hawaii that are doing studies on bonefish, and they use them to float clam necks up off the reefs, right? And so there's all these different situations for a spinning globe. That's why so many colors. That's why so many sizes. But you know, the beauty of the spinning globe, and I'll show you a couple of real cool tricks real quick. So like, you know, for instance, if you want to make your spinning globe spin faster, and you know, you want to change the look of it, and you got 3 of them on there, now it's going to spin faster, right? Because it's got less surface area to turn. Just like if you have a prop with 1 propeller, it's going to spin way faster than with 3. It's not going to give you as much propulsion, as much vibration, but it is going to spin faster. So in turn, you have a different look, correct? Now you fish
just
that.
cut a wing off that spinning globe.
Yeah, I did. So no one's going to get that one.
Gosh.
But I'll show you a really cool trick, right?
Customized by Jared.
So any of you guys that have fished a smile blade, right, know how you can bend them and tweak them, right? So why doesn't anybody ever take a spinning globe and take the wings and bend them opposite ways, just like that? Why wouldn't you cause it to have different vibration?
Why not?
That's a good question, but the problem is now you're just going to like mind screw everybody.
No, I'm not. But that's the beauty of a spinning globe, right? It's not just a lure that you just slide down your leader, put on a top of 2 beads, and fire out there and work, right? You can tinker with it, right? You can play with it, but you cut a wing off, you bend a wing, you fish it upside down. Why not fish doubles, right? Guys in the Great Lakes are all the time, they're trolling for, you know, lake trout and different things. They'll fish a 2 on top of a size 4.
You ever drill different holes in them?
Drill different holes in them.
I was going to ask the drill hole thing.
So
but
people,
like,
people used to ask me.
the 2 thing intrigued me.
The 2 things. So they fish 2 of them at the same time, right? They'll fish the 4 on top of the 2.
Do you make counter-rotating spinning gloves?
Well, why don't you just do it with the wings? If you can bend the wings, you can counter-rotate them. You can spin a different way. Right? So, I mean, this one's spinning this way. Now if I bend the wings that way, now it's going to spin the other way,
I got to find all this
correct?
like cool stuff that I can like beat Marlon when we do our plunking episodes this year on the beaches.
But so you can bend
I
them
will
so we can totally do
participate
it.
in.
And get them to work
Because
different.
flunking is cool.
Yeah.
This guy said he hates plunking, by the way.
Hey, I never said.
How
I
many
never said
guys
I
out there
hated.
said he hates plunking?
Never said I
You agree
hated
with him,
plunking. I
hate
just said
plunking.
it's not my favorite thing to do.
It's so fun.
not my favorite.
I
way
mean,
to
what other
target.
type of fishing can you do other than like
Like
surf
mind
fights where you
blown.
appear
I
to
don't
stand?
know why I haven't done that. I've done doubles, never bent wings.
Yeah.
Rig one up, please. We are going to rig a few up. Don't
Yeah, we
worry
are gonna
about
rig a
it.
few
That's
up.
coming. That's coming.
Yeah.
I bent the wings on some glows and it works. It just puts a different vibration and spin.
That's put a different vibration.
You guys missed a super chat.
Sorry.
We've missed a few.
Oh, we missed a
Okay,
few
let's
super
go back
chats.
to them.
A few super chats. Jake Beals, thank you for the $1.98 super chat. What size spinning gloves should we use on big water? We kind of
2s or
touched on
zeros?
that.
2s or zeros?
2s or zeros. The 2s are the
Yep.
size.
Yes, sir.
And size 2 is a good one. And honestly, as you get into the summer fisheries, size 2s for steelhead, sockeye, and summer chinook, and late springers. If we get some extension time on the Columbia or we get some buffer time in May, would be the way to go.
Yep.
Creative Experience says, hey, opening day of trout season is here. Going to be flooded creeks. What's your biggest tips for flooded creeks for rainbows? Creative, I'm imagining you are in the Midwest because I saw some little blurbs that those guys are like flooding for their big trout opener. So
He's in
No bueno.
Pennsylvania.
he's in Pennsylvania. Oh, okay, and that's the other super chat. Opening day here in Pennsylvania, we're going to have flooded creeks. What's some of the tips, lures for flooded water trout fishing rainbows? Spinning glow and bait just off to the side?
Dude, I would fish
Why
rooster
not?
tails, bro.
In flooded
But,
water?
hey man, in flooded water, why don't you plunk them like we do steelhead here?
That's what I was going to
Like
That's
right
what I was
next to
going
the
to
Inside
say.
bank,
corner.
plunk it like in the.
There you go.
They use like a lot of wax worms, different stuff like that back there. I would do the same thing, bro. I would do that. I would send it up real heavy, and I would get it like 3 to 10 feet off the bank somewhere where there's a nice bend or a flat
3
or an
to 10
inside seam.
feet. Sometimes I did see a video. I think Fish USA or somebody from Fish USA posted today. Dude, it's like, no, it's one of the creeks they posted. Dude, it's 2 inches of visibility and raging.
Oh, so maybe like 2 to 5 feet.
Yeah,
at the most.
I'm talking on the bank, spinning glow. Honestly, for those flooded conditions, honestly, a big spinning glow that's putting off vibration, a big profile, a lot of color. Anytime you can add bait and scent into the mix, those are all things, and especially too, casting out something that where you think a fish is going to be off to the side holding and leaving something still, which is why a spinning glow is a phenomenal bait to utilize when you do have high water. In fact, generally out in the Northwest, when we are fishing salmon and steelhead, I guess, and trout. But for us, for me really knowing salmon and steelhead, spinning gulls do fish better when the water is higher because the fish are then all pushed onto the bank. Some of the conditions I saw, some videos, I don't know where you're at in Pennsylvania, but dude, it looked like chocolate freaking milk. I mean, raging. As it drops though and clears, those fish are at the velocity is still up in the creek. They are going to be in the size, and if you can put something in front of them, something that they can detect, something that they can find, I think you're going to be well off.
Successful.
And that's where I put like a little bit, maybe a little bit of yarn on the back of the spinning, like tie it into your egg loop on your top hook, and then add some scent. Like in those situations, man, I think scent I use all the time anyway, but like in those situations, that high dirty water, that scent thing, I think is huge. That's me personally, maybe, but.
Someone said, glad I don't live in that part of the country. Getting excited for a trout opener. Eric, I got bad news for you, because even in this part of the country, like, guess what?
Dude,
there's more trout fishermen
fishing
in freaking Oregon and Washington than salmon and steelhead combined. Like, trout is like, it's like 10
And I love trout
to
fishing.
1. And one thing over there is they do have like ample steelhead runs. But they also have a lot of big browns and big bows
Bro,
and big lots.
the
Cool
biggest
stuff
brown
up
I
there.
caught,
So-
I caught a
cool
19-pound
trout.
brown
I mean, it's a
out of
different
Milwaukee
world.
Harbor.
Man.
Yeah, 19-pound brown. Give me a break.
On a
Like,
maglet, dude, so fun.
Wow.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, bro. That those fisheries over there are nuts. They take pretty good care of a lot of those. They're pretty cool.
let's
Jordan
talk-
England, the beard. What's up, bro?
Jordan, what's up, guys?
I love that guy.
Let's see here. Maglet, plunk, only option. Well, it's not the only option, but it's probably
It's a
the
killer.
one that's going to do it.
It's a good
Yeah.
one, bro.
Killer.
If
I've
I did
had
not work for
trout
Yakima Bait,
try
I
and
would
take-
still fish maglets. They're fishy, bro.
I've had trout try and take spinning gulls almost the size of the trout. That's right. They can't resist
yeah.
them. Would salmon steelhead hit the spinning glow attached to either a spawn sack or cured roe?
Oh,
Shane,
yeah.
abso-freaking
Without
absolutely.
question. I
Yeah.
fish spinning glow prawn spinners all the time for springers behind 360s, and it's fire.
We're going to talk about that a little later.
It
Because
works
basically,
good.
because I want to know, so to heck with all you guys, like I want to know more.
Yeah. Size
Will
6
spinning glow catch a bass? We're going to talk about this.
So you know what's really cool? So I was talking about Howard Warden earlier, and they used to make a lure, and it was a spinning glow spinner bait. And so you picture where your blade is on the spinner bait, right? And we have the skirt, you have the R-bend, you have the arm, but the lure was a spinning glow. And so it was cool because you could fish it like a spinner bait, you could cast out and retrieve it, and the spinning glow would thump, and the skirt was behind it, but you could also let it drop, and when it would drop, the spinning glow would hold the wire up. And so you could pick it up off the bottom and fish it. It was a really neat lure. Obviously, it didn't sell well enough to keep it in the lineup, but it was cool, and that was designed by Howard Warden sometime in the mid-'70s.
We
I
need to
think.
bring this back. It's
Interesting.
going to be our personal mission now.
It was.
All right, let's talk about a little bit about rigging.
Rigging.
Because what we want to do is we've got a couple different baits here for you guys to show, for Jared to show, for plunking. I think we got some gloves down here somewhere. I thought we did. we had
It's
some
not in the
lures.
video, bro.
Okay, well maybe we don't.
I'm a farm kid. I used to spray
but
around.
we're going to talk
that.
about rigging, and then we're going to talk about how to utilize, like how to go out and actually do some plunking with the old white board. So thank you guys, helped a lot. Appreciate it. Yes, sir. Rod and reel setup for plunking. We'll get to that. Yes, I have caught 3 striped bass on spinning glow.
Yeah.
One in the middle winter was even 26 pounds.
Nice.
There you go.
Solid.
Apparently
I dig it.
they'll eat the bass as well.
I dig it.
What's up?
I just heard striped bass, so I came.
Marlon was like, I'm in.
It's all about it now.
Bring me
Yes,
in.
sir.
Put
Yes,
me
sir.
in, coach.
I already been looking at my calendar, like trying to figure out how I can like squeeze some days in.
Bro, my buddy Scott Feist is mopping him up on the sack, man. If you want to roll down there, let me know. We'll go. Feisty would do it. He's fun, too. Feisty's cool. Yeah, he rolls like 65 miles an hour up the Sacramento in his jet boat. It's wild, dude.
Sounds scary.
He's dirty.
sounds
It's fun,
cool.
bro. You talk about rolling dirty. It's fun.
Oh my gosh.
What's the difference between maglip and flatfish? That's a pretty good question, actually. So, real quick. So, maglip is a deep diving lure. Maglip has rattles. Maglip exhibits a skip beat action. Maglip will also work up to 4 mile per hour currents. Flatfish is a mid diver. Flatfish does not have rattles. Flatfish has a very wide head wiggle, and flatfish works very good at currents from 1 mile an hour to 2 miles per hour. Flatfish, again, is not a deep diver, but that's the main difference between the two. Skip beat action, rattles, deep diver, and then no skip beat action, wide head wiggle, mid-range diver. That's the difference between a flatfish and a maglip. For Nari
I thought you were looking for
BK.
just a flat one.
No, we had a roll of pictures.
Question for Jared. Why did the spinfish change names? Long answer, Short answer is it fits really good with spin and glow. So spin and fish seems pretty natural for the company and kind of like a family thing. So that's pretty much the short answer on that.
We needed something white because I know last time I
Maglet
tried to use
Mafia,
black,
Mills
didn't work.
Miller. It's a cool page. Those guys are doing a good job with that. Crackheads bite spinning glows.
Anything bites a spinning.
That's pretty funny, Josh. I'll give you that. That's pretty funny.
It is just that effective.
Can you use a slice of tuna belly behind the spinning glow? Absolutely.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
Yeah, I use tuna bellies on a lot of different stuff. Sometimes in front of even a naked prawn behind a 360.
Okay, I'm curious about that. Cody Herman says, hi, little spoon.
Oh, hi, Big Spoon. How's my buddy?
What's going on with that? Can you explain?
It's a long story. Yeah.
Oh, good stuff.
That's
what about
pretty
rigging
fun.
a spinning glow backwards? Maybe we'll talk about that right now
We
because
did that.
I have got
Hi, little
a
spoon.
double hook rig with some millennial coon shrimp.
Very good.
We need to talk about showing guys one of the most effective ways to get
Switch these spots.
You're good, brother.
summer steelhead or sockeye on the Columbia River.
We're still at sockeye.
Boom, go side cam.
Cool thing about like coon shrimp and rigging them is there's lots of different ways to rig them. Even with prawn spinners, right? I'll rig them different ways, and so, you know, you can do a bunch of different things. Ooh, these smell fishy too, dude. So you can rig them just like this, to where you stick the tail hook right, or stick the hook right through the tail. I like to get it right in the meat right there and just right through. You can let it hang. You can rig it just like that, right? Which is really simple. Another way I like to rig them is actually, depending on fisheries, is you can rig it through the side like this, right? And so I'll actually rig it right through the side, just like that. You gotta be real careful not to tear it. When I do this, you know, generally you have an egg loop, and so what I'll do is I'll poke my egg loop through there, and I'll poke it, and I'll get it right around this tail here, and that'll actually help hold it on there, right? And so you can see how that kind of holds it out. Now, you can do this different ways. You can see if the different places I hook it will be different places for the tail placement, right? And so sometimes you just want to hook it just like this, so the tail folds over. Again, I've mangled this one, but the tail folds over. But sometimes, I'll get a new one here. Sometimes the fish like it straight.
You can't sit there and abuse the bait.
No. Sometimes they really like it straight too, and so I'll actually rig it just like this. I put it right there, come right through the top of, I believe that's called the carapace. Real nice and easy, right? And then I'll actually run it up my line. So you can see I've got my egg loop here, and so I'll actually run it up my line. I'll get 1/2 inch in here. Oh, I knocked something over.
Nope, I did.
One there, right around the tail. It's a lot easier to do, it seems like, with rubber gloves on the boat while it's rocking. But then I'll actually take it and I'll extend this tail out on some of them. Right? This is where those couple of beads have come in handy, and so I'll actually do it like this. That'll give you a little bit of a spin, and if you want it really straight to where it just hangs in the current, I'll put a 1/3 inch right in it and come right down on it. Now I've knocked the beads off my spinning globe, but so that's where the beads come in handy, right? And so you just need a couple. Generally I'll use like a 3 to 5 millimeters, about the biggest you will ever need with a spinning globe, right? And so as it comes down, it'll hang in the water, and with that tail kicked out just a little bit, it'll cause it to spin. Now you'll notice that the different ways you rig them, it'll spin different than water, and I suggest that you play with that a little bit, but that's one way to rig it. Right now you can see that thing's going to rock just a little bit in the water because it's kicked out, right? That tail's kicked out, so it's going to spin, right? And so you can rig them a bunch of different ways, and you can adjust this as you go, right? As far as you want, if you want to slide up, right? Just give your tail a 1/2 inch, a little bit tighter of a tug on it, and it will line that shrimp up. But lots of different ways to rig coon shrimp with a spinning glow. So a lot of guys will use them. Actually, if you can use a treble, they'll put a solid treble on there, put a rubber band on it. But my most general way is the first way I showed you, where I just rig it right through the tail. I might 1/2 inch it. A lot of times I'll take a rubber band and put it around this second hook, and the head's on there.
I didn't bring a dental band, sorry.
Yeah, so I'll just put it right through the tail like the first rigging, and then the head's hanging right here, and so I'll just take a dental band, I'll put it up, and I'll snap it around the head, so it'll hold it straight on these 2 hooks. So a couple different ways to rig a coon shrimp with spinning glow.
What size hooks are those for, like the size 2 spinning glow? I saw this question asked a few times just right out of the gate. What size hooks would you recommend?
If I'm fishing a double hook on a size 2 spinning glow, generally I will fish like a 2/0 with a 1/0 trailer. If I'm fishing a single hook on a size 2 spinning glow, I'll fish a 3/0 hook. You know, what you really want to look at is, if you're having problems figuring that out, the best way to do that for you, because, you know, it's different hook manufacturers, sometimes the hook sizing is a little bit different and the weight's different. And what you're going to want to do is you're just want to put it in the water with the bait on it and see if it floats or it sinks. Because ideally that's what you want, is something to bring the bait off the bottom. That's the idea behind the spinning glow. It's a buoyant drift bobber. That's how it's categorized. And so what it does is it keeps your bait off the bottom. Even those slow currents, slack tides, or in those situations to where you may not have any current, you want to make sure that your hook weight does not overweight the neutral buoyancy of the spinning globe, because you want to float your bait up off the bottom. That's the idea.
What kind of coons? Those look like good with long whiskers. These are millennial bait coons.
They smell great too.
What I did is instead of poaching
fishy.
all my jars of them, I just took a few of them because I didn't want to bring them over on the boat.
Take the whole
And you'll notice one thing I noticed too with coon shrimp is these feelers that they have on them. And when you take really good care of your baits and you're curing them and they have these feelers on them, I catch more fish whether I'm fishing a prawn spinner, if I'm even just bobber dogging one of these things, or I'm fishing it behind a diver, fishing it behind a prawn spinner or a 360. The ones with the feelers, I catch way more fish on them. Way more.
The fish like to get tickled before they eat it. Huh?
Yeah, it's kind of like that dancing thing, they're up there dancing, throwing a feather in your face. That's what it is right there. But I seem to catch more fish like that with the feelers on them than I do without.
So for single hook rig guys, so these are two 1/0 hooks right here. One thing that you guys got to realize that if you're going to be fishing off the bank and you're going to be running lines out, you're not going to be casting, you're going to be utilizing 3 different baits and 3 different spinning gloves. You're not going to be able to use a double hooked rig. One thing we'll do is just I didn't cut it. Very good. I can't do it left-handed.
Quality scissors.
Hold the camera.
These are right-handed scissors.
Operator.
It clearly says right-handed
Oh
scissors.
goodness gracious!
So we'll just snap that off.
Yeah, so even with the single hook rig, guys, you can still absolutely place your coon shrimp on there.
Yeah, and that's where I would just do a very simple, through the back of the meat, right out the head right there, and then just 1/2 hitch is what I would generally do right around the tail, for a single hook rigging. And it's pretty simple, and your bait tends to stay on that way. It does take a little bit sometimes when you have giant fingers to try to do this, but yeah, and I just pull it right up there, kind of snug it right up top.
Jason-sized fingers are
just like
best.
that. There you go. Yeah, just like that. And so now that's going to hang right behind your gear. Let me grab the spinning wheel here. That's going to hang just like that, right?
That is a sexy bait.
That's
Come back
sexy.
here. Come back here, buddy.
Yeah, that's going to
There it
catch some
is.
fish right there.
That is going to murk them. And then you can fish 3 of these where it's applicable and legal to fish 3 hooks on a rig, i.e. the Columbia River below McNary.
You got to remember too, like spinning gloves are porous, right? The material we use is styrene plastic, and so what I do, like with scent, I like the oils for this stuff because instead of the gels, and I'll just put some oil right in the top of this, and so what that oil will do is it'll go down in this little hole, and it soaks up inside the body, so it leaches out for quite a while. So it's a good scent disbursement tool as well.
Indeed.
And so
Little scent
good little
cartridge.
tip. I've seen guys add like high-vis tape and stuff to the wings, like those little dots and stuff you see, different places, which kind of add some flash and flare to it to change them up a little bit.
I mean, ultimately, you got to make these baits tempting enough to, what just fell?
Nothing.
Tempting enough to eat because, these salmon and seal really aren't eating on the way up, but you're still enticing them. So whether you do it with color, flash, size, vibration, bait, scent, anything like that, any of those little useful tips that you guys can give it a try and throw at them, could end up working.
Yeah.
Well, and think about it too is
You're not matching a hatch. There's not a spinning glow hatch out there, which I'm
No.
surprised there's not.
there's not, but it's kind of a match the hatch type thing. But you got to remember too, like the fish, the stuff that we're eating in the ocean was pristine, it was perfect, right? So as you take your time and you put your baits on there, these shrimp are fairly inexpensive, so if you put one on, it does break or it doesn't look right, or the head comes off or whatever, just get a new one. Same with a herring or whatever, right? You want to make sure that your bait presentation is absolutely on point, and like I said, put it in the water, look at it, take your time for just a few seconds before you fire it out there and sit and watch it for 2 hours or an hour.
And the
or
other thing I was
whatever.
going to say too, practice at home.
Practice at
Trying
home.
to do that,
Yeah.
trying to rush it out there, take like 3 or 4 baits, rig it up, make sure it's something you want to look like, half hitch it, kind of get the feel exactly where you want to place those half hitches, where you want the size beads you want to use and the size of spinning gloves you want to use, and kind of get real familiar with that at home. And honestly, sometimes you can actually take those and pre-rig them the night before to where you can just clip them on your setups, which we're going to show you guys here in just a minute, and then just go out to the beach and start casting or start having your kayaks run those baits out there and go fishing.
And one thing I've done a lot with, like a lot of the baits when I cure them at home is if I know I'm going to be plunking, I put a little bit more sugar in than I normally would, because sugar seems to make my shrimp more rubbery. And so they're more flexible, they're more durable. You know what I mean? And so if I'm using just plunking shrimp, I use more sugar because it seems to make it more rubbery. I used to actually use a fruit pectin product for a while whenever I was fishing a lot of river stuff, because I did a lot of bobber dogging with this stuff and a lot of bobber fishing early in the years, like in the late 90s before anybody really did it. And that fruit pectin would make them almost, unbreakable. But they're very flexible, like rubbery.
Pectin cures are a good thing to utilize.
Yeah.
Available in your canning sections at your local hardware stores.
Yeah.
How exactly would one cast a triple setup with all that stuff hanging, and there's no one there with a kayak or anything to run it out? Joe, generally at that point in time with a triple setup, I probably just wouldn't cast it.
Yes. Double, yes, but triple
Double
tough.
double setups. I'll kind of run through the leader lengths on the whiteboard to show you guys kind of the basic principles of casting that double rig. But once you get that triple rig, you're just lengthening stuff out there way too far and just asking for disaster. So most guys can do doubles pretty easily. And then if you foul one up, at least one's fishing. But yeah, triple setups are pretty hard. I'd utilize a kayak or a boat if you're going to do that. Yep. Tie bead and egg loops make it easier to grab onto on cold days. Yes, Todd, you can absolutely do that.
For sure.
But I think we can kind of, we don't need to show.
It adds weight too, you gotta be careful.
We've talked about that too quite a bit when it comes to like egg fishing and bobber fishing and stuff. But I like to do that with all of my hover rigs. Yes, sir. Let's see, Jared, have you considered an embedded light in the spinning reel?
So we have, and the problem with like lights inside of lures is anytime you put electricity underwater, that's a tough deal, right? Like, and so the fact that we figure, I sold certain companies lighted lures for years, right? Like I think the first one out was what were those original ones called?
Watsits?
Not the Watsits. They started with a V. Vortex. Oh. You remember the Vortex lures?
I don't remember Vortex.
So we fished those at a few night fisheries for years, and they were awesome, right? But you get about an hour and a half out of them, and the seals would break, and of course the batteries wouldn't work; they wouldn't blink anymore. So that was kind of one thing we looked at, and I had a lot of coalage in those when I did retail sales, and so probably 50% plus were coals would come back broken, and so and we sell millions of spinning glows a year, and so I don't need 500,000 spinning glows out there that people are like, my batteries don't work anymore, it doesn't light up. So I'm like, I'll pass. But I have thought about it, buddy.
Glow sticks?
Glow sticks? That's not a bad idea. And really, I mean, if you want to fish a spinning glow with a glow stick, you can find a small enough glow stick that you could probably drill a hole in the spinning glow and put it in there. The problem would be is adding the extra weight to see if it would turn. But, I know that they alter them in the Rogue River. They'll actually take them and they'll put small tubing, like take a small chunk of tubing and put it over the spinning glow and glue it onto it. And they put an anchovy head in the bottom of the small tubing. They drill a hole through the tubing and they toothpick it. So the spinning glow wings actually spin the anchovy while they're trolling or while they're plunking. So you could probably do something similar with a light, with a light stick, something like that, to where you had something that held the light stick in place. But it would just have to be very light because you're going to create drag, and I would have to think about that and how to do that. Maybe drill it in the,
I feel like there'd just be so much line twist.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of line twist.
Summer of 2024.
He uses the little mini tiny glow sticks, and he uses the dental bands and puts them on his coocher.
Yeah, I've actually taken and wrapped glow sticks on quickfish before, way back in the day, in the middle of my sardine wrap, and done well with that.
He said in some of the popular springer fisheries that I'm sure everyone knows of and fishes as you head further east, he said sometimes first thing in the morning, like the first basically 30 minutes with those glow sticks, he will outfish everyone.
That makes total sense, dude.
Yeah.
Because we used to do early morning plugging on certain rivers when I was younger in my drift boat, dude. We would, like I said, we'd take and we'd wrap a sardine wrap, and then we'd wrap a glow stick on the sardine wrap. And that's how we would fish them, bro. Because the quicks, they kick up a little bit, they have that little bit, and so they're coming up, you're backing it down to them anyway. And who doesn't want a wiggling, glowing sardine?
They can smell it, they can hear it, and they can see it.
Yeah, and they're like, yum, yum, dim sum, give me some!
Exactly that.
Exactly
what every salmon says before.
Yeah. I speak salmon.
100%.
Yum, yum, dim, yeah. Give me some.
Yeah.
Bam!
Yeah, but you apologize to our sponsor, Stevens Marine, because Jared's head is blocking their logo so bad.
No, but they
That's
switched
why I'm
spots
always
because
in the
Jason
middle.
was in the middle, so it wasn't a problem with Jason. I don't know why it wasn't a problem, but it wasn't a problem when Jason was standing like this tall in the middle.
Ladies and gentlemen, Addicted Fishing would like to thank Vin's Ean for sponsoring. We love you, Eric, by the way.
All right, plug in a coon shrimp, plug in a herring. What? Plugging a herring? Get
Plugging
out
a
of here
herring?
and say what?
Yeah, I was taught that
Can't
by
do
some
that.
dudes up north for some late springer fishing and a few tributaries up there, and you know, it's pretty effective. And you know, I've kind of used a similar technique with spinning glows in different places, and it's kind of cool. And it's a very easy thing to rig. And so you're gonna have your spinning glow spinning, but you're also gonna have your herring spinning. And so, you know, how you rig that, it's fairly simple. It's been a while. Let's see if I can do this again.
Okay, so what we got here, guys? Some Red Label small herring.
Ooh, that smells good. Smells like some Procure sushi. So what I like to do with these is
Hold on, stop, back up. Let me see that rig. Double hook. Oh, hold on, slow down. Slow down. Red Label, 2 hooks, 4-finger spacing, about
yeah, it'll work fine.
2 3/0.
So I generally take, and what I do is I like to take the hook and I like to put it right between the top of the 2 eyeballs right here, right? Okay, because the eyeballs really don't matter. A lot of times you don't want to pull them out, but in this situation, it's not really going to matter a lot. Okay, and you pull it through here, and generally I'll just take this hook and I'll pin it in the back of this tail, because again, they're going to come up behind it and bite it. So you can just pin it just like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I'll take this hook and I run it right in front of the mouth here, right in front of that hard cartilage behind the eye. And I take the hook and I'll pin it just like this. See how I come in the side? Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this up my leader, just like that. See how that little bend in it? And I'll take and I'll make a couple half hitches right around the nose, kind of like you would if you're rigging a whole herring, right? And I'll pin it down real tight. Here we go. It takes a second to do this, especially again with giant hands. But you pin it down real tight, and you want to do it twice, right? And you really want to pin that nose over. That's the key, is to pin that nose over, because that's what creates that kind of wall that the water hits, right? And so when you pin it, you see how it's kind of pinned, and it looks a little funky, but when you slide the spinning glow, I don't have one on here right now, but
Do we have any spinning glows?
yeah, we do. We got a couple. But you'll have a couple beads on this, but when you slide the spinning glow down on top of it, and usually it's a 2 or a 4, right? Oh, I got to hook up on the hook. Okay, you can see that the nose is kind of kicked off, and you're going to have a couple beads right here, right, that's going to hold that there. And the nose is kind of kicked off to the side like that. And so when you put it in the water and the spinning glow is spinning, this herring will actually rotate behind it. I know it looks terrible, right, when it's pinned like that, but they're not going to see it because they're coming up behind it. But that's a good way you can plunk that. You can use that for an anchovy. You can cast it out and plunk it. You know, and the key is to get that hook bend right there, right, and bring it right up here. And you can see how that hook bends the body. When it hits the water, it's going to push it out straight, and the thing just rolls behind it. And then the spinning glow will roll too. Now, you can actually take, which guys in the Rogue River do, they'll take a Dremel tool and they'll hollow out this on both sides of this line. They'll hollow out this and they'll drill a hole through it. Yeah. And they'll put it over the nose of the herring and then they pin it. And that will actually work well too. Yeah. So that's kind of a cool way to do that. And you just cast out and plunk it. Or you can actually back bounce it. And you know, in some of the holes, rivers we fished up there, we would actually walk it back and back bounce it. Yeah. But you can see as you pull that, it'll bend it, right? And so you can kind of pull it and get your tension and bend it right. But yeah, kind of a cool way to rig it up. It works good for plunking too. Generally if I'm plunking, I'll use orange labels or red labels, something small, because the green labels are pretty big and a whole green label creates a lot of drag. So orange labels are really good. Anchovies are really good. You know, cure them up in some like Procure, you know, bait brine, something like that. It'll like firm them up a little bit. They work really well. But it's a pretty neat technique. Because we used to rig them similar, just like this, when we used to fish off the jetties for kings years ago when I was a kid with those giant pop can bobbers. We'd rig them just like that, and you kind of almost mooch them with your bobber, right? And as you'd pull them, they'd roll up and they'd drop down.
Jesse said no beads. No, there would be a few beads. We just kind of like threw the spinning glow down.
Yeah.
I didn't have any beads sitting right here.
Yeah,
But
we didn't have any beads right
You're going to
here.
want to have a few of those beads there just to give you a little more spacing so those wings can clear the bait and spin around.
Yeah.
Again, another one of those baits, like another one of these things, guys, like we show you guys there. And like I said, even just that, like, I mean, I can just kind of tell, like, just with how off angle that is, it's going to roll in the current, and it's going to be
roll.
effective.
It's gonna have
but
some spin.
One of those things that you're definitely going to want to try to play with at home a little bit. I'm getting rid of this because we're going to go to rigging stuff. That you're going to want to, like, rig at home to practice a couple times before you get out.
And generally what I use on the lead hook on that is I use a 4/0 hook on the lead. And what that does, that longer hook with that longer shank, it gives you a chance to really bend that head. Because then you can work the bait up that a little bit, and it gives you more bend in the head. So I use a 4/0 lead hook for that, just because of the longer shank, and it gives me a chance to bend the head a little bit better.
I wondered how this would work, but you know, we're just gonna clean the whiteboard now.
I would be willing to bet that the herring brine will clean the marker off really well.
I think I actually have like some little cleaner. All right, guys. How many people we got watching, Clint? How many people we got? We got almost
wow.
400 of you guys.
Almost 400.
So what we're gonna
That's
do?
pretty close to my weight.
Pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close.
Oh,
About 50 off.
oh goodness. We don't want to talk about your weight,
Oh yeah, because it's hot in here.
dude. It is, dude.
It always
the
gets
heater
hot.
turned on early tonight.
Woof.
Yeah.
All right,
I don't know
guys.
about
So
you
we're gonna
boys, but
talk
from
about some
here to
basic
here, it
rigging
is
stuff. For those of you guys who are asking about like what technique or what equipment that you're going to want to use for plunking, and basically, at least on the Columbia River, a lot of what we're using is big bar rods, big surf rods, or honestly, a lot of our like 1062 XHs, 1062 inches are heavy troll rods that we would utilize for like spring Chinook, or excuse me, for 360 fishing, work actually surprisingly well for a bank rod. Again, when you run a bank, when you cast a bait out, you need to have a rod that's heavy enough to cast like 8 to 10 ounces of lead. Or if you run it out with a kayak, you're not even casting it, but you're not using like the attributes of the rod as far as like the sensitivity or the feel of the rod to determine if you're getting bit and need to do anything. You're putting in a rod holder, you're hanging a bell on it, and you're just waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling.
Da-dong, da-dong, da-dong. Reel it down,
Yep.
grab it, set the hook. So what we, generally rods that are heavy enough that can reel in and can handle it. We're going to talk about a little bit like why you want to use like some line counters. But basically one of your guys' setups, or line counters, excuse me. But basically one of your guys' setups is what you're trying to achieve. It's going to look like this. Oh boy, here comes the whiteboard. This is going to be awful. So just deal with
Way
it.
better than if I did it, bro.
Triangle or circle weights?
I always use triangle weights when I'm plunking.
Definitely pyramid.
Yeah, because I'm pretty particular about like seams I want to fish, or areas I want to fish, or drops offs, or ledges, or eddies, or whatever. And so I'm a triangle weight kind of guy. Isn't that going the wrong way?
No. Current's going this way.
Okay,
Does that work?
Yeah.
Is that right?
you're right.
Sure.
It was just such a pretty drawing. I was like, man, the Mona Lisa of.
Oh my gosh! Hold on, you get ready for. Am I
Oh,
gonna?
look at that! Look at that,
Beautiful.
dude. Nothing. Look at that. That's pretty good, Cam.
There you go.
Dang.
Look at that. Look at that.
Spin and glow.
Popcorn player.
I'm not even gonna try to draw a shrimp, so we're just gonna go like this.
Look at that.
Shrimp.
That's a beautiful one.
Dude, this is freaking.
Those are the
epic.
curly-tailed shrimp from southern
You know,
Sri
you
Lanka.
can talk crap, but people are waiting for this. They are literally sitting here
Dude,
watching this live.
You did way better than I do.
They
bro.
Waiting
just
for
want-
this
they
drawing,
want
so
to
we're gonna
see the
make it good.
whiteboard.
Yeah,
We're gonna
I'm
make it
terrible
good.
at charades
We're
or
gonna make it
Pictionary or
good.
whatever those things are
We're
called.
gonna make it good. We're gonna go.
Shouldn't the line angle be the other way?
Huh? What do you mean?
The
No,
line
the current's going that way.
Yeah, but
The line angle should it be up this way?
yeah,
I
that's
think
kind of
so.
what I
You
was
know, we're
thinking.
just gonna go with this.
We're
I
running
think
with
it's
it.
good.
We're just gonna
I think
go
you're
with
good.
We're doing it live.
You know what? We're just.
This is the new
you know what,
Yakima
just
bait
shut your
current
mouth.
reversing spin and glow technique.
Hey, I'm not the plunking
Oh my God, see,
expert.
you're-
Don't worry. The people will
Don't
judge.
ask.
The people will judge.
I was gonna
people.
say, I was literally gonna say like I got 2 peanut galleries now. Here we go.
We'll have
Here
400
we
here
go,
and
but
T
we gotta
minus.
Talk about this. So yeah, and then
That's the key to is leader length and pound test, bro.
yeah, 50-pound braid. What we're gonna want to use there, a 3-way swivel.
That's what
Anyways,
I learned about.
yeah, we're just gonna go with it. So, 24 inches, and this is probably at least a minimum of 25-pound mono.
Yeah.
Mono.
I usually drop it
Not
down.
4L?
Well, this is not the leader. That's the bumper. And then this guy, I'd probably say like 8 inches. This is kind of like, you got to adjust accordingly. If you're plunking in rocks, you're going to want a longer dropper. Plunking in sand, a little shorter dropper.
One heavier current
This
too. I
is
would use a longer
generalization
dropper.
plunking.
Yeah, 8 inches. We're just going to say 10 pound.
Yep.
All right.
I like it.
Oh, this is going to be epic. Here we go, boys. The moment
Ladies
you've
and gentlemen,
all been waiting for.
boys
Spin
and
Glow Setup
girls,
101. Here we go.
Introducing to you Plunking
Boom.
101. Bam.
Oh God.
By Professor Cam.
Focus it. Focus it. Okay. Oh, there we go. Focus.
Hashtag legend Cam.
Dude, I am a much better fisherman than artist.
You're pretty good, bro. Actually,
I'm just
that's
gonna
pretty
say
good.
it. I will admit to that.
I think that's pretty good.
All right. So first things
Picasso.
first, we talked about using heavy troll rods and utilizing our trolling reels. But our main line right up here, guys, is going to be like a 50-pound braid. And then it's going to go to a little 3-way swivel. There's a couple ways to skin that cat, but honestly, just the cheap 3-way swivels, the Danielsons that you find that are heavy enough to tolerate 20 and 30 pound test are going to be what you want. I've been waiting for this moment, says William. Cam, the Bob Ross of the fishing world.
Bob Ross.
Abstract plunking. That's a good one.
Abstract.
Oh my gosh. Rest in peace, Bob Ross. Oh my God. Happy little spinning glow.
At Cameron Robert Ross.
Plunking engineering at its finest. Yeah,
It's you, bro. Finding your new niche.
Fine piece of art. Super. Okay. Anyways, okay. I just figured I'd read some great comments there. 50 pound braid, guys, going to the first. This is the first 3-way swivel. We got 3-way swivel. And behind those 3-way swivels, what we're going to do is 18 inches of about 20 pound test. Now this is what I would use 20 pound test if I was going to be fishing like sockeye, steelhead, maybe spring chinook. If you're fall chinook fishing and running the big wobbler setups, you want to be using 50. They ain't line shy. Don't give a crap. But guess what? It's springtime. We're talking spring chinook and summer steelhead. So you can get away with a nice 20 pound test. Maybe if you want to push it up, go to 25 pounder if you only catch 30 pound springers like we hear online all the time. Even though they don't exist anymore. Not around here. But you're going to want, the key to this is having 18 inches between that 3-way swivel and this awesome looking depiction of a spinning glow and a coon shrimp.
God, it's beautiful.
Freaking
That's a curly-tailed coon shrimp from southern Sri Lanka.
Yeah. But this is for a double setup for casting. So 3-way swivel, 18 inches between the two. But however, I'm going to run 2 setups, but I'm going to make sure that between those 2 3-way swivels, I'm going to run 24 inches of a heavier monofilament or a heavier braid than what I'm running on my leader. I'm going to run a 25 pound. But honestly, if you want to take a chunk of your 50 pound braid and put it between those 2 3-way swivels, you're more than fine to do that. Again, the fish don't see it. The fish don't care. You don't want this to break. I want this to break long before this were to break, or the weight to break in case I snagged on the bottom. So I'm going to run, I said 25 pound here, but really you can run 50 pound braid. But you want this piece to be longer than this piece, which is for your leaders. And the reason why is when they're casting, I'm not even going to try to draw this, but when they're all laying down, this thing swinging down is not going to tangle where the next leader is hooking off of that 3-way swivel.
Yes. And I use most time here, I'll use a 40 pound almost always because it's so stiff, it pushes away from my gear when I'm casting. So
ooh, see, pro tip right there.
Yeah, if you're not really comfortable,
we're gonna correct this.
If you're not comfortable casting or you're just not as smooth as, and you haven't learned how to, when it almost hits the water, thumb it back, drop it back, lay everything out, similar to like bobber dogging or something like that, then it's good to use a little heavier pound test there because it does give you that stiffness and keeps it away from your gear longer.
I was going to say, do that on my bobber rigs all the time.
I got a happy little accident going on here.
Happy accidents.
Oh, God.
Happy accidents.
Bead chain with a dual snapper, cool too. Yes, there's a lot of ways
to
skin
do
cat, but just basic 3-way swivel will get it done. P-line actually makes this really cool swivel where it has a swivel here, and then another swivel, and then it has actually a bead chain.
Yeah, I've seen
hanging off that, and they're like a 3-way plunking that utilizes a bead chain in with the swivel, already pre-built. And no, I did not bring any because
And some guys make. There's a couple companies I think that make a twisted wire spreader bar, and that thing works pretty good too. If you're really uncomfortable with it, it does really push your gear out and push it away. And it doesn't really hurt your presentation, I don't think. And so if you're not comfortable with this type of setup, there are those spreader bars, and they're a little bit longer here to here. And here they stick out about 3 inches or 4 inches or so.
Definitely.
And it allows, keeps your gear from twisting up. So those are a good way to go too.
Definitely gets a lot of separation.
Nice tip. That's very important. Yes. 24 inches, a little longer length between the two. The next one. And now let's talk about the weight drop, because the weight drop, depending on if you are purposely trying to break off or if you're casting, I said 10 pound here, but honestly, you probably want to move that up to a 20 pound if you're casting because you don't want to break that off. But I have 8 inches for fishing like sandier, hard pan bottoms.
Because they're sucked down too there.
Yeah, they're going to be stuck on the bottom, bellies in the dirt, especially for spring chinook and steelhead. You're going to want that bait, especially that lower bait in your face, because how many fish do you think bite the lower bait compared to the middle or the upper bait? What percentage?
Man, bro, I've caught a lot of them on that lower bait.
Yeah, I'd say definitely lean more heavier towards the lower bait. Marlon, what do you think? Plunk Master McGee?
What?
Lower bait, middle bait, or top bait?
For fish?
For what one catches the most?
Lower bait.
Lower bait, yeah. So you want to make sure that that lower bait is down in their faces. That can be a little longer than your dropper right here. But when I say 8 inches, I mean, you do want that pretty close to the bottom, but you don't want to attach that pyramid weight right to the 3-way. So in case this snags, you have the opportunity of breaking that thing off and then saving the rest of your gear.
Is
One
that
of the things I
main
started doing
setup?
a lot too is a lot of guys will have that, like, a lot of guys that taught me how to do it will have like 5 feet sometimes in between their setups of their triples. And I started figuring out, like, if you just shorten that sometimes 18 inches and get all those spindles like really close down
Right
to the
next
bottom,
to each other.
you can get them
Can they
really
hear
good
you right
doing
now?
that.
So what Marlon was talking about was having 5 feet between each one of these 3-way swivels. Now, obviously, if you have 5 feet here and then another rig up here and 5 feet, you ain't casting 15 feet of garbage out to the river.
Unless you're me
These
with
are
a
for those
13-foot
guys,
rod.
Yeah, that's right. Unless you're like Jared, who can mend with a 12-foot rod. He could probably do it. But nobody else can. And honestly, none of you addicts can that have come to the premieres that can do it either. So that's for running out with a kayak. But what he's saying is the guys that run 5 feet there might be missing the boat because that lower spinning glow is so effective that he's saying actually reducing that to like a 3-foot or even a 2-foot, 24 inches, and pushing more of those baits down towards the bottom basically gets in more fish.
And what you can do too, and what we've noticed when we do it a lot, and this is mainly for the guys that are going to be running these with boats. You're going to be fishing with a kayak or a sled,
lower bait,
and you're going to run it out. But and Cam's been with me on a experience where we realized this. Like sometimes those fish are not on the bottom though.
No.
Sometimes they are suspended, and so what will happen is if we have guys running, like usually we'll have 3-4 guys on the bank, and everyone's kind of running different setups, right? And if you figure out like, okay, the third guy in the bank, we're getting all of our fish on the top spin glow. We will literally adjust all of our setups and try to get all of our spin glows within that same water column once we've kind of patternized where the fish are running.
Yeah.
That will help you so much in just smashing so many more fish than the guy next to you.
And another thing that helps a ton is line counters, right? Like we talked about that a few minutes ago, right? Like you know that if your buddy's running your gear out with a kayak or a boat or you're casting and you got bit at 82 feet, I would put that thing back at 82 feet. And you know, as you're looking across the river wherever you're at, you know, mark a tree or whatever where they go out and you drop it like on the other side so that it's dropped in the same spot at 82 feet every time. So you're fishing that same seam line because obviously during that conditions, those current conditions, those whatever, they're coming up that line. And so you want to target that line. And a line counter, even from the bank, is super effective.
Well, so many people, too, get so caught up on, and Cam talks about this a lot, even with 360 fishing and, you know, what you're putting behind your 360 and stuff. A lot of it is like, it's more like, are you in the game? Like, are you actually within the fish? Like, are you, do you have the stuff in their faces? And is it rigged properly? That's 90% of it. So many guys get stuck on, well, you have to have a Washington coon stripper. If you're not using a millennial, you're not catching them. And it's like, it's so much more about this that Cam's showing here on the board.
Right.
Yeah.
And Marlon has a perfect segue because not only like, so what Marlon's talking about here, guys, is when you have plunking and you have a couple rods and you can utilize like some of these guys on the bank, running lines out like what Jared was saying, like this one might be 86 feet on the counter out to where his bottom. This one might be 50. This one might be 25. This one might be 130. Doesn't matter. You guys get the idea. If the fish are swimming up this direction and they're hitting lures here or hitting lures here, hitting lures here, you're going to be able to hone exactly where those fish are running at that point in time of the tide because they might all be running on this arrow. This guy might be catching them at 50. Well, guess what? This guy at 85, 86, now he can suck his stuff back down into 50 and so can he. And now you have all these baits in a row. Guys that utilize plunking, when they're running 3 baits per rod, can absolutely crush them. And Marlon took it a step further because not only do you have the distance out from the shore, but you also have the distance of depth, like how far those fish are hugging towards the bottom. And what we did find out on that sockeye day, which was really crazy, before that, once we changed our droppers, and instead of running something that was 8 inches off the bottom, we were running, not only that were we running out, but we were running up off the bottom, and up off the bottom we were getting in the way of more fish, and we were able to dial that in super quick because we had 7 or 8 rods. Yeah, we had 7 or 8 rods on the beach, and dude, all of a sudden, like we went from a day where we caught nothing for 3 hours. I think we caught a carp or a pike minnow, and then all of a sudden we were just blasting the sockeye and summer steel like it was no tomorrow.
And I'll give it to Bill Rivas from Millennial Coon Trip, and obviously another guy that I fished with a lot. His name's Cameron Westfall.
Demonstration.
I will give it to those two guys because when I learned a lot about this plunking thing, that's a lot of the like advanced kind of tips that I learned from these guys. Is like, so many guys will get stuck on too. Like, I'll go to a lot of the same beaches, and there'll be a guy that's like, I get him at 60. Like, I catch him at 60, and it's like, well, yeah, you may catch him at 60
When they run at
sometimes,
60.
but like if you just are constantly running your shit at 60, they're not always going to necessarily be at 60. Like,
No, when they're at 60, by George, he catches them.
yeah.
Yeah, and I would, I mean, a good way to adjust and look at that too, like if you're on the bank and you're not sure and you don't have 4 or 5 rods, is like the heavier the current is running, the closer I would want to be to the bank. The less current I have, the further I'd want to be off of it, right? And so that's where you can kind of take that variable out a little bit and maybe make you have yourself a little bit more confident.
What we found too in the spot that Marlon's referring to, it's actually a great, I don't know what it's titled, but it's a sockeye video. I'm sure if you search maybe sockeye salmon, plunking for sockeye salmon on Addicted Fishing, watch this video, guys. Like where we were fishing was like a pretty popular plunking spot, but the tide wasn't really good. It was kind of off, and like honestly, those fish weren't getting sandwiched down to the bottom. They're taking the path of least resistance. They're just kind of suspending, milling around.
Willy-nilly.
And we really needed to bring those baits up off the bottom to have a successful day, which we did. It is pretty funny. If you are out there plunking on a beach and there is 30 rods on said beach and nobody is catching anything, it probably doesn't hurt you to take a little bit of time and run a longer dropper, run out a little further, or probably the biggest mistake I see with a lot of people do is not running in close enough to the freaking beach. Like, dude, bro. I'm telling you. The other thing is too that I want to give out a little bit of credit, because we did a live feed with like Forrest a couple years ago fishing for sockeye, and we were running our lines out, and the Forrest shows up and he starts whooping our butts because he was casting, but not because he was casting, but because there was so much weed and so much debris in the water that we would run these lines out and do this big old elaborate setup, getting the kayaks out, running them off the beach, and doing this full setup where we were not bringing our baits in long and quick enough to get the weeds off and to put a fresh bait on it. And he was sitting there just cast out, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, reel in, rebait, cast out, and dude, he was the only one catching fish because all our stuff was grassing up. So just another point, just another tip for you guys. Like if you're running these guys out and you're doing these elaborate setups, don't forget to check your grass, but also don't forget about maybe the value of just checking your bait and casting it and just cycling bait a lot of times, because his bait was fishing a lot more efficient than ours and he was the only one catching them. Crazy.
Yep. And there's certain spots that are...
Clint, there's tons of like really good questions. Can you go through and like, I saw you have some favorites. Or are those
what about Myra? Jamie Taylor, hi, your posts are wonderful, but we're not friends on Facebook. Hi, Myra. Okay. I'm full of friends right now, so I can't check any friends.
Call me. Yeah, it's the spammer.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
a spammer.
Anyways, we saw a lot of good questions there. I'm gonna have Clint like maybe roll up and do some like screen pop-ups real quick because we've got Jared for just another few more minutes.
Yep.
Because we got springers to kill tomorrow.
Yeah, we're going springer fishing tomorrow. I got a couple special guests on the boat tomorrow. It's gonna be fun.
Springer slamming tomorrow. I hope.
Yeah, hammered.
I hope we do.
I'm gonna go with Fred Meyers on the way home and get
Could you run a
barbecue
spin
chicken
glow
wings.
bait on the three-way, the plug on another, or would the plug mess up the action on the others? So Ronnie, here's what I'm going to explain when it comes to plug fishing for plunking, especially when you're utilizing two other baits. There's a video called Plunking, I think, mag lips for plunking mag lips for steelhead. And I do the whole thing where I slide the mag lip down. Yep. I'm telling you, man, we could sit here and try to explain it, but I'm telling you, we've already got an awesome visual on Addicted Fishing on YouTube. Go check it out. It will run down exactly how to attach it, running your line up the bank, letting that, going a little further up current, letting the plug grab the current, slide down to a stopper bead, and setting up in the current the way you want. Honestly, it's a video. I can't remember what it's called, but I'm sure if you do some kind of like plunking tutorial or plunking mag lips or plunking plugs for steelhead or salmon, I was the one who did it. Check it out. It will get you guys dialed up for running an extra mag lip or an extra plug down on your lines, and it'll get you set. I'm just telling you, I'd love to do it now, but we're going to run out of time. I'm telling you, I want you to do that.
It's a
So if you were
dialed
casting
setup.
with a 10 pounds or 20 pound weight, or is this dropping? Okay, great question. And so you probably don't want to cast a 10 pound test to your dropper because you will probably swing and break it off. Probably bump it up to 20. Now, if I was in a kayak and I was taking rocks and taking some cotton kite string and wrapping rocks so I can do a little breakaway action, and I don't care if I lose that lead, I'd bump down to 10 because if it hangs on the bottom and you get a fish bite, it breaks off, it's no big deal.
Right.
If you use cotton rot cord like we do in crabbing, or you get at the knitting store, it'll decompose, no big deal. Then you leave your weight and you want it to break, because then it's nice to fight a fish without the lead on it.
Yes.
Very nice.
So but if you're casting, go to 20 pound. I know I wrote 10, go to 20 pound for sure. Draw a spreader bar for the new guys. Those things are clutch. Yes, so one thing, instead of using the 3-way swivel guys, a spreader bar is basically, it's a piece of wire. Some guys make them really fancy, but this is literally it. Ready? Go side cam. Here we go. Work of art, baby.
There it
Bam.
is.
Bam.
In all its glory.
There's a swivel here that
2/3
goes
of a triangle.
to your spinning glow with your coon shrimp on it right there.
Yep.
This thing goes to your lead. It's just a piece of wire with 2 eyes. One's longer than the other. Use the longer one for your leader. Use the shorter one for your dropper, because the weight of the dropper will pull this arm up and keep this thing separated from your lure. So when you're casting it out, it's hanging down here and it's hanging away. So when you throw it out, spreader bars are obviously a no-brainer option for when you're casting, especially, even though guys will cast with the 3-way spinning glows. The spreader bars, they're nothing fancy and they work fantastic.
And I think 2 people that make those, if you're looking for one, is Polson Cascade and Oregon Tackle.
Boom.
There you go.
All right. Well, any other quick questions, Clint, that we have for Jared, you guys? I've got like, I don't know, $250 worth of spin glows.
Bam!
It's like a 2
You know when you hear spin glows hit the deck, it's like bam!
2 pounds, 2
Whoa,
pounds worth?
now we're crushing them.
Gotta be.
Oh, now it's 2 pounds. Oh, I'm going to put that one back
Oh,
in the
they
bag.
keep falling out. Put that one back in there.
Put it back in the bag. All right. If you do use another spring, favorite bait additive for your coon shrimp, go.
Me? Well,
Couple drops of anise.
Couple drops
Can't
of
go wrong
anise.
there.
Ooh.
That's it.
Anise, the shrimp krill from Procure is pretty good. Shrimp Prano is pretty good. Bloody tuna can't hurt. You know, I use all sorts of different stuff. Shane Magnuson's Sand Shrimp Sense Killer. Those types of things, just, you know, different ones of those are really good for that stuff. And like when that water is a little warm and you want something different, if you got 3 baits, throw garlic on one. Can't hurt. Garlic's good. Come on.
I hate using it, but I love using it.
I hate using it, but I love using it. There's nothing,
love-hate,
nothing
for
better
sure.
than landing 3 fish and eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich that tastes like garlic. Yeah.
Oh, but the fishing garlic isn't the same. I love garlic, but the fishing garlic is
bro.
just like
Spicy.
It is
rancid, spicy.
ruthless.
That's just
Extra.
like,
It's a bit of
Extra
spicy. It's a
spice.
spicy meatball.
if you're using garlic, the boat 50 yards away should not
We'll know
know
it. Yeah.
that you're using garlic. Should
That's
not
true.
know. You're using too much.
That's true.
You can use all those in a lifetime. Well, David, you might get a
I've
we
used
can
quite a
call
few
this
of
the lifetime supply
Lifetime
prize
package.
pack.
Lifetime Spin and Glow membership. First
you
one
go.
ever given on live YouTube.
There's like really good colors. There's like the chromes in here, chrome blues, the pink watermelons, the brown trouts.
Luminous Spot, Lime
Ooh,
Chartreuse,
the
Detoxer Blue
greens,
Scale,
lots of
Purple
lime
Pink
chartreuse,
Tiger,
Misty River,
Low Red Fire
Funky
Tiger,
Chicken.
Watermelon
yeah,
with the
Hot
pearl.
Purple Pink Tiger, Misty River,
There's a
yeah.
Willamette special
Detoxer
watermelon,
Release,
watermelon black
watermelon
wing.
with the
Weird. That one
Yum.
comes with a fish.
Yeah, imagine that.
Oh, weird. What's this
go.
one called? Just the clown?
Clown,
Clown.
white wing, clown.
Yellow, 3-dot orange.
Just clowning
white
around
wing.
at Yakima Bait. That's all we do. Just clowning around.
That's all I hear. There you
Yeah.
go. Ooh, there's even a pink mylar.
Ooh, that's a luminous pink with Mylar pink
luminous
wings.
pink.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
glow.
Nice.
Glow
This guy.
pinks. We have
Oh my gosh, never need to buy another. We're going to hook an Attic fan up and try to take a little money out of Yakima's bait pocket. Because
Yeah.
you're never going to have to buy
What is
another
green?
size 2 spin and glow again.
Whoa.
make an addict an addict.
That's right. All right, guys. PA, Pennsylvania, we're coming April 21st. Get your tickets online at addicted.fishing. If you're from the Midwest and you want to go out and to watch our movie premiere, Steelhead Alley, the whole gang's going to be there. Prizes, giveaways. We've already been told that we have got our care package from Yakima Bait. We're going to pull out some of the antics that we pull over here on the west side of the country. That's for sure. West
Bring 'em
side,
to
I guess. I'm not cool enough to say it like that. But, you know,
Ice Cube,
you guys be sure to get your Mega Bash ticket. We're coming out there April 21st at the Bayfront Convention Center in Erie, Pennsylvania. I hear it's an awesome venue. Looking forward to seeing all you guys out there from the Midwest.
Midwest is cool, bro.
I know. I'm looking really
headed out there
forward
April
to catch.
22nd.
I am told I'm going to catch a 7-pound smallie when I'm out there.
Ooh, I wouldn't doubt it, bro. They smash them.
I know Nolan's not watching, but he promised me 7. No, he promised me a 28-pound bag.
Nice.
You can get it?
Taters
He
at
said
Walmart.
28.
Taters at
He said
Walmart
28.
on sale, 28-pound
He
bag.
backed it down to
$17.99.
tried backing it down to 25. He said 28. 28-pound bag coming. Or else.
He said the fishing's phenomenal. He said he wishes we were there right now.
Shoot, they're spawning early. Crap.
I'm headed there the 22nd. I'm headed there
Wait,
to Michigan fishing.
of April?
We're the 20.
We fly out the 22nd.
So do I.
No, we fly home.
No, we fly home the 22nd.
Oh, dang it. Yeah, I fly out
Dude,
the
will
22nd.
you fly out like 2 days earlier and come to our premiere?
I might be able to do that because it's a weekend, right? It's a weekend, huh?
Dude, it's Sunday. Yeah. the
Oh,
premiere's
I should
Sunday
change
night.
my flights.
You have to.
Dude, you have to. We're that close.
I love it.
Bro,
Okay.
beer's on
Let me
me
look
this
at
time.
them.
All right.
Yes, that's a bad choice for you,
Oh,
bro.
crap. What
That's
did I
a
just
big
do?
bill, bro.
It's gonna be, well,
That's
hey,
a
no,
big bill.
It's
We're
Labatt.
talking about breaking into your retirement.
It's Labatt.
We're talking about mortgage in your
It's all
house.
about the Labatt Blue out there from what we learned.
Ooh, I like Labatt's,
The
bro.
blue
That's
light,
good
the blue
stuff.
light,
Labatt's
blue
Blue and
light.
Coconut
You
are
gotta get the
yummy
blue light.
beers.
That's right.
I like
All
my
right.
beer cold, and that's it.
Sunday night. Got you. I got you at the Bayfront Convention Center. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to get your tickets. If you guys are in the Midwest, please come out, man. We want to come out there again. I love coming out there doing the steelhead fishing. Can't wait to do a little smallie fishing with some of the guys from Fish USA. They are going to throw it down. They're going to do a whole bunch of stuff to make this thing an awesome event. We're bringing the crew. Can't say enough about it. Let's pick a winner for the Spinnacles. We hope to see
Come
you guys out
on.
there springer fishing.
Coming in hot.
One other quick little announcement before you hit that is there is a compact meeting tomorrow. Now, I'm just going to derive the fact that Friday was the last day and it was set to close Friday. So my guess is that if they are going to have a meeting on Thursday, the day before it's going to close, they're probably not going to close it sooner. They're probably going to be talking extension. No promises, haven't heard crap, don't care. It's just the odds that they called the meeting on a Thursday. It'll be posted all over the interweb, so stay tuned. We may get some fishing, additional fishing in the Lower Columbia. We may not. Who knows? Powers that be will tell us. Okay, we've got our winner, Scott B.
No
Said
wings.
No wings. Well, guess what? You can trim all the wings off these 250 plus spinning gloves.
Or guess what? We make spinning gloves with no wings. They're called winners. They're actually in our catalog.
There you go. So if you don't want to cut the wing off,
Buy winners.
Now you
Be a
can
winner.
have
the extra 25 cents
Be a winner.
for a spinning glove. Get a winner. All right, Scott B, congratulations. You won the big spinning glove prize pack. If you email your address to orders@addicted.fishing, we'll be happy to send this out to you. Jared, thank you guys so much for coming in. Jason,
Thank you.
Heck yeah, buddy. Steel Obsession, soon to be Springer Obsession Guide Service.
Yeah.
You guys, we filmed an awesome podcast before this talking about some of the intricacies of mag lips, what to do with them, how to do with them, all that good stuff.
Good stuff, bro.
Good
That's fun.
stuff. Looking forward to seeing you out there tomorrow.
For sure, brother.
One of those, one of those.
I'm gonna give you a hug.
Those
I'm a
hugs.
hugger.
Oh, hug in the big
I'm a
guy.
hugger.
Thanks for
Buddy,
tuning in,
I'm gonna give
guys.
you a hug,
We'll See
too.
you out there next week.